warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome. Okay, today I'm making this video for my final test in post-intermediate speaking class by Mr. Adit. And now I'm gonna present about the research article. The title is Learning Styles in Teaching English. Okay, these are the table of content of my presentation. The first is definition learning styles. The second topic is kinds of learning styles. The third is example of kinds learning styles. And the last or the fourth is applying example of learning styles. Okay, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Ika Novitasari. You can call me Ika. I'm from 5th semester of English Department SDKIP Pagari Bangkalan. And there are my name and my Gmail. Okay, before that, let's read these quotes. What seems to us as a bitter trials are open blessings in disguise by Oscar Wilde. Honestly, I got these quotes from Instagram. I think it's beautiful and I put in my presentation. Okay, next, let's go to the first topic. It's about definition learning styles. According to Brown in 2000s, defines that learning styles as the manner in which individuals perceive and process information in a learning situations. The second is kinds of learning styles. Of course, there are so many learning styles in different journals or in different articles, but in this my PowerPoint, these are the three main of kinds learning styles. The first is visual learning, second is auditory learning, and the third is kinesthetic learning. Let me tell you one by one. Visual learners think in pictures and learn best in visual image. And second is auditory learning. These individuals gain knowledge from reading out loud in the classroom. The third is kinesthetic learning. Individuals with kinesthetic learn best with an active hands-on approach. Okay, these are the other kinds of learning styles. The first is verbal learning, the second is oral learning, the third is physical learning, the fourth is logical learning, the fifth is social learning, and the sixth is solitary learning. Let me tell you one by one. First is verbal learning. Verbal learners practice things like reciting information out loud, writing their own notes and highlighting the key points, having a passion for words, writing, tongue twister, rhymes, and indicate that this learning style is for you. The second is oral learning. Oral learning involves using sounds and music, so this individual can learn and study with the listening music or some sounds from music. Auditory learners develop understanding and memory by hearing and listening. If you find it easier to understand spoken instruction rather than reading them, oral learning will benefit for you. The next is physical learning. I think physical learning is same as like kinesthetic learning. Physical learning involves using your body and sense of touch to learn. Physical learners learn by doing, touching, moving, building, and are described as a hands-on. Next is logical learning. Logical learners often learn by asking a lot of questions. Logical learners want to understand the whole picture. They are natural thinkers who learn by classifying, categorizing, and thinking abstractly about patterns and relationships. Next is social learning. Social learners prefer to learn in groups rather than on their own and like generating ideas by brainstorming with others. And next is solitary learning. Solitary learning is the antonym of social learning. So, solitary learners tend to be more independent and introspective, spending a lot of their time enjoying on their own company. Next, okay, in this point, I will present you about the example of kinds learning styles and how to apply the learning style with some games. Okay, visual learning. Visual learners can learn with the graphs, with the watching videos, with a PowerPoint like that, with the illustration, articles, or pictures. And how to apply with the games? There are some games like board games, picture games, and reading games. There are plenty of commercial like board games that can be used or available in internet. By board games, they can practice grammar, vocabulary, phonics, and spelling. Next is picture games. In these games include anything played with a picture as their main starting point. There are kinds of picture games like a flashcard. If you want to know more about flashcard, you can search on internet. Next is reading games. Reading is an essential skill for all students and will work especially well with the visual learners. There are kinds of reading games like 10 important sentences with watermelon, reading treasure hunts with colored pencils. Next, auditory learning. Auditory learners can learn with listening podcasts, watching videos, group discussions, and one-on-one conversation. Okay, there is some of how to applying auditory learning with some games like recitation games, listening games, and quiz and story building games. Recitation games. These games are any games that involve students repeating language they have had demonstrated or written down for them. These games like Chinese whisper, jazz chants, and karaoke night. And next is listening games. In EFL, students studying English in their own country often express concepts that they can understand their teacher but not other native speaker. The example of these games like vocabulary scavenger hunt, closed passages, or jigsaw listening. Next is quiz and story building games. Quiz games like Jeopardy, grammar knockout, type games, and listening memory games. Next is kinesthetic learners. For kinesthetic learners, they can learn with role-playing, note-taking, hands-on activity, and walking meetings. And how to apply these learning styles with some games like touch games, spatial games, and craft games. The most common games involving touch are those based around having real items inside the bag, so that students have to touch the items and then perform curtain tasks. It's like a touch game. Touch like that. Touch your friend like that. So this is the touch games. The next is spatial games. These games involve re-engineering items or people and can be both kinesthetic and tactile. games like population punctuation. And the next is craft games. Any game where the students have to actually assemble something, like Lego negotiations, where students have to negotiate with other teams for cutting pieces to create their Lego creature according to the direction they have been given. Okay, this is all about my presentation about learning styles in teaching English. Okay, special thanks for, okay, this is the name of journal or article that I used in my presentation. And of course, credits. This presentation template was created by SlidesGo. Yeah, this people is about the SlidesGo who support my PowerPoint more awesome. Thank you so much. This is all about my presentation. Thank you. See you again. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.